As you can see, I tried putting 2 layers of sponges on the bottom of that slit. It didn't really work, so now we're going to get the bottle and just do it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 30 basically. That's what it was before anyway. So it's certainly gripped. That blue tack is certainly gripped. I can't slide the pot now, and it's just gripped straight away. So even on a wet brick, it's gripped. So we'll see how it goes. Now that would slowly drip out, and it took time to start, but we'll see. So we've basically now flooded the pot, and we're giving it a sort of, oh wow, I think I can actually see some signs of a difference in the plant there. See that coloration stuff? That sort of pinky red sort of starting to, so it gives us hope. And if this one's going to work, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one works out. So because this is just one step away from having a shot of trying to blue some plants, sort of thing, depending on how the bottle works out. If we can get it in consistently in the bottles, then I'll go for the bucket, and we'll see if we can blue some of these plants, because there are some of these plants that actually blue, like the Kaipo daisy can blue, and this one can blue. This one really does blue, and as you can see, they've all got this sort of, you know, consistency between them, but some of them are definitely known to blue. So really well, you know, almost getting up to half turquoise sort of blue sort of thing. So we'll see how we go with the CP related weeds, and so on and so forth. So we go from this one to this one. If there's an improvement with this one, then we go to that one, and if that one gives us just even better growth, then we'll go and try and blue something, and see if there is a relationship between bluing a plant and also growth response, and does it tie in with Drosera gigantea, the most robust, colourful sundew on the planet. Yeah, I always put Drosera gigantea there instead of Drosera regia. I mean, Drosera regia is a big plant, but when you've seen Drosera gigantea in the wild growing on deep sand, like 2-metre sand, you know, hand-sized potato-like tubers, so it has to grow up from those, up 2 metres, then break through the soil, then grow to its enormous stature, then it dies down in early December and comes back again the following year. So it has to die all the way down to that 2-metre tube and then come all the way back up, apparently. Maybe there's something else going on, we don't know, but that's what it's all about, fellas. So we'll see how we go. But I've got to keep this wet so it's consistently damp, so it's anaerobic to a certain degree, certain extent, so we can get the Cyanophyta to grow, because that's what it's all about, basically. So growing the Cyanophyta, as far as we know, that's what the red organism. It may be more than one organism. It may be a whole suite of, you know, going from bacteria to protozoa to nematodes, the lot. It could be a complete food web in there, and you get one thing wrong and it throws everything out. So, you know, as I said, you know, biology is quite a difficult discipline. They've always you don't prove it. You don't prove anything in biology. You show it. Basically, you show it to be so. And there's always something new out there in the biological world. So, you know, that's what they always. I mean, mathematics is the only discipline in science that really can actually use the word prove, you know, properly. That's where it evolved from, is from mathematics. But everything else, especially biology, you don't really want to use the word I'm going to prove something. You really want to, I'm going to show something, and it's a much better standpoint. And it's always, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm willing to find out. It's always better to do it that way than you know, never say you're definitely sure about anything, especially in biology, because you can always shove something under a microscope. You can always run something under a new scanner that's coming along, and you learn something new every day. So, you know, I'm just warning you, fellas, don't try to prove anything in biology. It's not the right discipline to be proving things. If you want to prove something, go into mathematics. Then you can definitely use the word in its proper form. I always think that the most effective word in science is ought. A, B, and C. You know, you go from A to B, so C ought to be this, but it's not necessarily so, and that's where you start to learn new things. You know, this cranium is this side, this cranium is this size, and the size of the brain to the cranium is that. So if we have a bigger skull here, the cranium should also be correspondingly, percentagely wise, bigger, and if it isn't, there's something else going on. So you learn something new every day. That's basically what the word all in science is all about, comparing A, B and C, or comparing A and B and predicting C, and if C isn't the same as your prediction, well then you just start generating new ideas, new theories and everything. So that's how it works, fellas, basically. In a back of a postage stamp thumbnail sketch sort of thing. I mean, there's books written about these things if you want to delve into the libraries, but you know, by the time you delve through all the books in the library, you've wasted half or 3/4 of your lifetime and you're not there doing any experiments, you know. I always think it's, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due, and as I said, nothing comes to nothing. You've got to start somewhere. I started somewhere a very long time ago, and it's been a very long, very slow progress, and we're slowly making connections, but you know, it's very hard, fellas, because no one else seems to want to get off their backside and pull themselves up their own bootstraps, because I think that's what you need to do. No one seemed to see that was something really amazing going on out there in the bush, because I don't think anyone's really seen Drosophila gigantea growing on deep sand, and everyone's taking everyone else out to these shallow 3 centimetre or sort of granite aprons sort of thing, you know. So the tubers only go down about that big, so you know, a tuber that going down that far can't grow to hand-sized, potato-sized tuber. So you know, don't expect to get gigantic plants growing on a granite apron. I think the real reason the granite apron, they will search out the granite aprons, is because if they're only growing down that far, you know where they are roughly. You just dig up a square of peaty material, and you're going to find, you know, 50 tubers there easily. I think it's what it's all about. There's a clandestine network of grafters, you know, diggers in quotes, the land down under, and yeah, making money for jam and, you know, not much else, I don't think. So I'm not the one to put down, fellas. Understand that, fellas. It's those other people not doing the right thing, you know. I mean, do they have a tissue culture laboratory in the back of their place? Do they have greenhouses full of grown on? Do they take cuttings? Apparently not. People have been to these people's places and they don't have massive greenhouses, and they don't have a tissue culture laboratory out the back. It's all basically being ripped out of the bush, money for jam sort of thing, and it's, you know, there are right ways to doing things, you know. And if they're making that much money, why can't they devolve into that? You know, start off the wrong way and then end up doing it the right way. I mean, we would give them kudos and credit for doing that. You know, okay, they were young when they started out, but they've devolved into doing it the correct way, evolved into doing it the correct way towards the end of their life. But apparently that's not so. It's still dig, money for jam sort of thing, and the hobby just doesn't go forward, really. Anyway, everything's out of focus. I'm on close up, by the way. Anyway, this is starting to make a move, but it's because of all the charcoal in there. You see, it's all the nutrition and the microbes firing up, the whole ecosystem, food web starting to fire up. But apparently that's what you want, lots of charcoal. If you've got your polystyrene, it's got to be down the bottom, or mixed in with a lot of charcoal. Charcoal is wetter, a little bit of sand on top sort of thing. And with these other things, well, this crappy sand, you've got to try and do other things. But it definitely looks like it's holding the water sort of things. And maybe I have to keep cutting this down until it just brims over. You know, so if we have any substantial rain sort of thing, rain events, it doesn't flood, but it, you know, it just sort of meanders and percolates through and keeps an eye. Maybe this is a way of keeping a steady state. So you keep the soil just nice and damp, and any rain that gets topped up comes out the bottom. So you keep that sort of dynamic equilibrium sort of situation occurring in the bucket pot, if you want to call it that. But anyway, that's about it for today's little spiel and rant. Oh, you know, the rant's the best bit, surely for you fellas out there, you know. You like a good rant? I mean, everyone likes a good rant. Come on, get into it. Okay, over and out there. And yeah, as I said, I will try, if I get to Coal Mine Beach later on in the year, I'll try and give you a really long video, maybe a 45-minute walk along the whole shoreline. I don't know how high I can get up on the cliff face, but we'll see, you know. I will be probably buying some new wellies for the thing, so look out for those. No stinky boots this time, but I'll probably throw them in the bin when I come back. You know, it was Christmas present to myself. I dumped my new stinky boots in the bin when I come back. Okay, because as I said, the season ends around about the first week in December, basically just before Christmas sort of thing. Over there, it's a lot longer. It starts earlier and goes for longer. Okay, well that's about it. We'll see how we go and see if we can get one of these to go blue. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Because that grows really well and quite fast. Even in this cold weather, it's sort of, you know, making progress. That's the sort of speed I like. I don't mind waiting for that sort of speed. You know, you can actually see something developing every day and new cuttings coming out, and that's what I want. That's where I'm heading, fellas. Big, colourful, robust, sturdy plants very quickly with very little effort. But it's taking nearly 50 years of knowledge to build up something from naught, basically. Okay, over and out. Well, this one, time to fill this one up again. So it's starting to go. So it shouldn't be too long, a couple of days, and I'll be done. And we'll put some plants in this one and see if we get a difference. Maybe we'll get a colour change overnight, sort of thing. Okay. And then we'll move on to, what I mean colour change, I mean reds and purple sort of thing. And then we'll move on to try and blue something in the next derivation. But what have we got over here? Anything happening? No greening at the moment. But this is good. I think this is actually settling down. This might be a new way. Polystyrene, halfway up the polystyrene, the other part of the pot is basically charcoal with a bit of sand on top. Seems to be keeping everything nice and damp and wet and cosy at the moment, so that might be the way to go. These for test runs, but I think that might be the way to go. Once you've got it to wet down sort of thing and you know, get the polystyrene wetted up sort of thing and the charcoal nice and why am I saying toasty? I don't know. It's not. It'd be freezing cold in there. What I mean, like this. So the charcoal's like that on the top layer, sitting on this perched water table made out of the thick layer of polystyrene. Because as we've learnt, you can't mix the polystyrene basically through the medium. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a good layer down the bottom of a decent pot. It can be mixed in throughout the charcoal. It's basically the charcoal doing the work then, and you just getting the reductive flammable gas coming off the polystyrene. You're not actually making basically a perched water table like you are with this one and some of the others sort of thing. So this one is not a perched water table, it's just a lot of wet charcoal.